let's play a game. What do you think is Mienfoo's usage rate in the Smogon Champions League, a league where the best Little Cup players play? You may know the stat from my other videos, but for those of you who don't know, that number is 94. Yes, 94%. So in this Champions League matchup, we see an unusual approach to the Mienfoo problem, a triple psychic team. So this Champions League matchup is between Laroxel and Decay, two of the best Little Cup players, and Laroxel is using a very principled, a very disciplined approach. He has a Diglett plus Abra as his offensive core, and then he has standard Pokemon like Stealth Rock Poniard, Mienfoo, Fighting Check Fungus, Rapid Spin Staryu, and his way of dealing with Mienfoo is very standard, which is Abra plus Fungus. Fungus can defend against Mienfoo defensively, and Abra can attack it offensively. On the other hand, Decay is using a very unconventional, unusual approach, which is Triple Psychic. And the idea is to overwhelm Mienfoo with 3 Psychic types. It's not much more difficult than that. And the thing is that even though he is using Triple Psychic, it's not actually that much of a liability. Because if you think about it, what are Psychic types weak to? They're weak to Dark types. Now without Vullaby in the tier, Poniard is the main Dark type. But you can really get around Poniard quite easily. You can use Diglett to trap it, for example. Abra can run Submission, Ponyta Galar can run Double Kick, Natu can run Heat Wave. So even though you have Triple Psychic, you have pretty handy ways of dealing with stuff like Poniard, or even Steel types like Pharaoh Seed. Because your Psychic types can run Mystical Fire, or Fire Punch, or Heat Wave. So you really have a lot of options, and Triple Psychic type is actually a good archetype. And to make it even worse for Laroxel is that he doesn't really know any of the movesets on any of these Pokemon. So for example, Ponyta Galar can be Eviolite, or it can be Berry Juice, or it can be Life Orb, and you don't know, is it Mystical Fire, is it Double Kick, is it Psychic? You really have no idea. And similarly with Abra, you don't know, is it Focus Sash Abra, is it Life Orb Abra, does it have Fire Punch, does it have Submission? You really have no idea. So there's a lot of surprise factor with the Triple Psychic archetype as well. So we're going to go right into the game and see how does Laroxel handle it, if at all. So we see the lead matchup, Laroxel leads Abra and Decay leads Mienfoo. And typically when you see an Abra lead, Abra leading, because Mienfoo is the most popular lead. So if you lead Abra, you're probably trying to counter lead Mienfoo. So that means you can have a number of options. You could be Inner Focus to live Fake Out, you could have Protect to stop the Fake Out, or you could simply be trying to pressure the Mienfoo out from the beginning. So Laroxel makes the right prediction, and he leads Abra into the Mienfoo. Now, Laroxel goes to Mienfoo, and Decay goes to Diglett. So what happened here was Laroxel predicted Pharaoh Seed in all likelihood, so he went to Mienfoo to predict the Pharaoh Seed, which makes me believe maybe the Abra doesn't have Fire Punch, because if it had Fire Punch, he would have used Fire Punch on the Pharaoh Seed. And from Decay's point of view, he went to Diglett on Abra, and the only reason you would do that is if you are Eviolite Diglett, because Eviolite Diglett can live Focus Sash Psychic, and it can live coverage moves from Life Orb. So if he predicted a Protect or a Submission or a Fire Punch, he could have gone to Diglett immediately and used a move like Beat Up to beat the Abra. But in any case, Laroxel gets the predict right, and Decay's predict, it didn't really work out. He's still in a kind of a bad position because Mienfoo can beat Diglett. So Mienfoo is going to force the Diglett out right now. And one of the problems with using Triple Psychic is that you don't have a defensive switch into Mienfoo. Your switch into Mienfoo is Mienfoo, because you can't switch Natu into a knockoff, you can't switch, Abra into a knockoff. So this is the problem with Triple Psychic, that there's nothing to take the knockoff. Decay goes to his own Mienfoo to take the knockoff. He uses Fake Out, gets some chip damage, and now Decay goes to Natu on a high jump kick, so he makes a really good predict right there, because if he predicted wrong, if Laroxel predicted Natu and used knockoff, then Natu would have taken a lot of damage. So a good predict from Decay, and when you're using Triple Psychic, you have to make good predicts. So now, Natu forces out the Mienfoo, and he reveals Thunder Wave on Natu, and he reveals U-Turn as well. And now he goes to Pharaoh Seed on the Staryu, and Staryu uses Ice Beam. So this is really important. This is really important because a paralyzed Staryu is not really that valuable. It was bad enough that Staryu is walled by Pharaoh Seed, but now it's even slower than Natu, it's slower than Ponyta Galar, it's slower than Abra. And we see Laroxel uses Hydro Pump, and Decay uses Thunder Wave. And this is a pretty funny turn. It's two good players who got into each other's heads, and they both made an over prediction. What Decay predicted that Loroxel would obviously go to Mienfoo and put more pressure on his core. So he predicted Thunder Wave, trying to get Mienfoo. Meanwhile, Loroxel predicted that Ferroseed would be too scared of Mienfoo. He predicted that maybe Decay would switch Abra, predicting Mienfoo. So they both over-predicted. So it's a funny turn where nothing happened. Then Loroxel goes to Mienfoo now, and Decay doubles down and he does Thunder Wave and he gets a critical paralysis on Mienfoo. And again, he makes a really good predict, because if Loroxel knocked off here, that Natu would have been gone. But he makes a good predict and he goes Natu on the Mienfoo, and Mienfoo is going to be really scared of Psychic right now. So he goes to Poniard on the predicted Psychic, but Decay makes a really clutch U-turn, goes to Diglett, and now Diglett is going to trap Poniard. And this damage confirms it is Eviolite Diglett. And now look at it. 3 Psychic types, and there's no Dark type anymore. So it's looking really, really good for Decay right now. Loroxel goes to Air Balloon Diglett, and Air Balloon's Diglett is to trap other Diglett, so it's going to come in handy right now. He does trap the other Diglett right now. And typically, the reason you would want to trap other Diglets is so that your Abra can be really strong, because if your opponent doesn't have a Diglett, then Abra can become strong because there's nothing faster than Abra anymore. So now, Decay goes to Ponyta Galar on the Diglett, and he reveals Substitute. So another really clutch play, and now he can substitute maybe Calm Mind on the Staryu right now, because the Staryu is paralyzed. So he reveals his Zen Headbutt, which is an interesting move which I don't necessarily understand. If I had to guess right now, Zen Headbutt means this is a physical Ponyta with double kick for Poniard. That's the reason you would run Zen Headbutt, but it's definitely an uncommon set. You would typically see Psychic or Mystical Fire. So now it's really problematic for Loroxel, because between Zen Headbutt flinch and the paralysis chance, he's going to struggle to even get a hit on the Ponyta right now. So Decay is going to keep substituting, trying to get a full para. He reveals Morning Sun, so this is like an Eviolite set with Substitute, Zen Headbutt, probably Double Kick as well. He gets a Zen Headbutt, he gets the paralysis here. He misses the Zen Headbutt now. Staryu uses Ice Beam, and I think we're going to see basically Ponyta, he gets the flinch there. He's going to take the kill. He won't take the kill, in fact. He goes and substitutes right now. I think he should take the kill as soon as he can. A Ponyta at full is really valuable. I think he's getting greedy. He wants to be at full with the substitute. So now he takes the kill, and it's going to be really tricky to deal with Triple Psychic right now. He goes to Diglett. Earthquake does 42-0 to Eviolite Ponyta right now. He uses Morning Sun, Final Gambit, and a really clutch Morning Sun. Now it's going to be even tougher, because you have maybe a Focus Sash Abra, but that's not going to do enough damage to Ponyta here. He has a Mienfoo, loses to Triple Psychic. Fungus loses to Triple Psychic. Really tough situation for Loroxel right now. Ponyta reveals Double Kick, which makes sense. Shadow Ball doesn't knock out the Ponyta. This is going to be a speed tie. Loroxel wins the speed tie. He has a chance. If it's Fire Punch, maybe it can beat Ferroseed. Abra, Shadow Ball, and probably this was Focus Sash Abra. So Abra versus Abra, he's okay with dying because he does have a Focus Sash. And now Fungus and Mienfoo are going to lose to Abra. He goes to Natu, reverses the Spore, doesn't do anything. But now it's going to be a free Psychic. Only 56, which is surprising, but it doesn't matter at this point. Another Psychic, and now the Mienfoo is going to faint as well. And Triple Psychic is going to clean up the side right now, and you really saw the power of Triple Psychic.